episode 3 and we haven't been canceled yet.
That's a good thing, right?
Of course. Getting canceled is like getting fired.
Well, I'm glad that we didn't get fired.
Me too. We always get the best, like the guy from Choose Your News. What is his name?
Dexter, he reminds us that the past is real.
2020 has been one hell of a year.
With all this COVID-19 talk, all there really is to do is hang outside. Even got my mask.
With all of the protests and riots and everything else that's going on, we figured we'd share a more positive side of the news.
Every episode, we plan on sharing videos that give a lighter side of the news.
Hello everyone and welcome to the third episode of Choose Your News. I'm your host, Dexter, and as you can see, we're in my room. Yay! So, obviously formatting is going to be a little bit different for today's episode. Corey could not make it, unfortunately, so today we do not have a current news story, but we still have news from the past. So, take a look. Today in history, September 14th. In 1994, the entire MLB season and the World Series was called off by Bud Selig. This was because of a strike over a possible salary cap for the Major League players, who obviously didn't want to get their pay capped or decreased. Collectively agreed on by the owners of many Major League Baseball teams was a proposition of a salary cap on their players. This was because of a financial situation, due to decreased funding from broadcasting networks such as ABC, CBS, and NBC. The strikes lasted for 232 days, and the salary cap was eventually denied. 35 years ago today, in 1985, the popular sitcom The Golden Girls had its television debut on NBC. The sitcom lasted for a total of 7 seasons, which ran for 180 episodes in total. The show won the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Comedy Series not once, but twice. Along with that, it also had won 3 Golden Globe Awards for Best Comedy TV Show on air. Today in history, September 15th. In 1998, Google.com made its first appearance on the internet. At the time, Google as we know it was going through a lot of changes, and its name was one of them. Prior to the name of Google, founders Larry Page and Sergey Brin's search engine was named Backrub. Also an interesting bit of information, Google was supposed to be spelled Google, as in the large number Google. But when registering the domain, they accidentally had a misspelling, resulting in the Google most of us use on a daily basis. And lastly on this day in history, a few birthdays. Actor Tommy Lee Jones and director Oliver Stone both turned 74 today. Tommy Lee Jones was born in Midland, Texas, and is most widely known for his role as Agent K in the Men in Black series. He has also won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his performance in The Fugitive. American writer, producer, and director Oliver Stone was born in New York City, New York. Stone has won an Academy Award for Best Adapted Screenplay in the film Midnight Express, Best Director and Best Picture in Platoon, and a second Best Director award for Born on the 4th of July. Well, that's all we have for this week's episode of Choose Your News. Like I said, format's a little weird this week, but we should be back on track next week, and Corey should be back. Hopefully. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to tune in next week for a better side of the news.
It was always good to hear yesterday's news.
Yes, so many cool things to look back on.
I remember when Halo Reach came out. They built an entire franchise because of its success.
Wasn't a huge fan. I was lost.
Sam has an interesting synopsis that one of the Halo games teaches players that it is okay to lose.
You'd have to prove it.
Sam? Sam?
My name's Sam, and this is Narado, where I'm going to be ranting about my opinions on storytelling elements in movies, games, TV shows, and even anime. Today I'm going to be discussing how Halo Reach teaches you that it's okay to lose. Majority of video games end in either a cliffhanger or some kind of happy ending. You defeat the bad guy, you save the planet, and most importantly, you save the girl. It's super easy to take in and it makes you feel good when you complete it. But some games end in a sad one, like Shadow of the Colossus, Spec Ops: The Line, Last of Us, and even Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. You don't defeat the bad guy, you lose the planet, and sadly, you don't get the girl. These are super difficult to take in and makes you feel sad. But it's these stories that I love. These are big boy games. Because sometimes in a game, you don't have to win to be taught a lesson. And that's why Halo Reach teaches you that it's okay to lose. But in order for me to teach you the lesson that Halo Reach has taught its gamers, I'm going to have to take you on a small journey through Halo Reach. The year is 2552, and humanity has conquered space travel, expanding the human race to new planets. But in doing so, humanity has discovered new enemies. The Covenant, a collective religious group of species that are destined to destroy anyone who stands in their way on the great journey. They have been destroying human colonies at an alarming rate. Now they have their eyes on Reach. The United Nations Space Command, or UNSC for short, has contracted an elite Spartan group called Noble Team. Noble is comprised of 6 members. Their leader, Carter, demolition experts, George, CQC Master, Emil, marksman specialist, June, technician expert, Kat, and its newest member to the squad, Spartan B312. Noble Team is sent to investigate suspicious activity at a comms tower in a nearby colony. To their surprise, they find that the Covenant has invaded Reach without anyone noticing. Carter calls command to tell them that the Covenant are on Reach. Noble Team then continues to Sword Base to defend it from a Covenant attack. Fending off the Covenant, they are informed that they need to take out the cruiser that's sitting above the planet. Noble Team comes up with a scheme to plant a busted slip space drive onto the Covenant Corvette, and then drive the Corvette into the cruiser. In doing so, it'll destroy the vessel and save the planet from further destruction. The plan goes off without a hitch. Noble 6 and George board the Covenant Corvette and plant the bomb. Sadly, during its delivery, the bomb took damage. Its remote detonation is fried, and the only way to arm it is through manual activation. That means someone isn't leaving the ship alive. George informs 6 of the news, picks him up, tells him to make a count, and throws him towards the planet. 6 falls back to Reach, and everybody thinks the day is saved. Out of nowhere, a whole fleet of Covenant cruisers enter Reach's atmosphere, and then lay waste to the planet. 6 rallies back with the squad to inform them of what happened. Now it's time for them to leave. The planet is doomed. They are losing this war, but haven't lost it yet. Noble Team departs for Sword Base once again, but before they can leave, an enemy sniper kills Kat. This catches everyone off guard and destroys morale. The Covenant means business. When Noble Team reaches to Sword Base, they are informed that Dr. Halsey has called them to her location. She has been working on a new technology that will aid humanity, but she needs an escort to the evac site. Noble Team then splits up and sends June with Dr. Halsey to get her off planet, while Carter, Emil, and 6 escort the new tech to the evac zone. As they are traveling to their destination, their convoy is hit hard. Carter is badly wounded and gives Emil and 6 an order to jump off in order to make it to the extraction site. Emil and 6 work their way through the battlefield and come across an enemy tank, a Scarab. Outgunned, they call for Carter, and he informs them that he has a weapon and the mass. He then signs off and crashes his Pelican into the enemy Scarab. 6 and Emil make it to the site and lay their eyes upon the Pillar of Autumn, the last hope for humanity. Emil mans a cannon to protect the Autumn, and 6 gives the package to Captain Keyes, the commander of the ship. The Covenant make another push and flank Emil. 2 elites drop on Emil and sadly kill him. Keyes yells at 6 to get on board, but declining, saying he'll man the gun. 6 shoots down more Covenant ships, and the Pillar of Autumn takes flight and leaves Reach. All alone, Noble 6 has to fend for his life as the Covenant continue to glass Reach. Noble 6 makes one last stand by killing as many as he can before he is ultimately killed. This is why I love Halo Reach's campaign. It teaches you that it's okay to lose. At the start of the game, they make you think that the UNSC is winning. But at the halfway mark, after when George sacrifices himself, the tone shifts. You realize that the Covenant are going to lay waste to this planet, and there's no way that anyone's going to win from this. When Kat dies, it's out of nowhere. It shocks you. It makes you realize that the team is dwindling fast. June goes MIA, Carter crashes the Pelican, Emil goes down swinging, and finally, you're the last one. The final mission only gives you one simple objective: to survive. You're in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by enemies. You can hold them off as long as you can, but sadly, you can't hold them off forever. And then Halo wants you to know that you don't have to win every battle you come across. The game teaches that so well. They show why it's okay to lose, because at the end of the day, there's still people around you who are going to be fighting. Just because you have to give up doesn't mean everybody else is. Now, as a kid, I was bummed out after when I beat it. But looking back at it and realizing the lessons that it was trying to teach, I love it. Because in real life, sometimes you don't get a happy ending. Rather, you get dealt a lesson, and it's up to you to learn it. Halo Reach is a big boy game. There ain't no happy endings here, only sad ones. They're giving you the lesson, and it's up to you to learn it. And that's why Halo Reach teaches you it's okay to lose.
I don't feel so bad for losing now. I feel more confident.
As you should.
I feel just like the cooking show.
Meaning?
Every episode just keeps getting better. I mean, look at what we've made. Oreo balls.
Hi, my name is Kiana,
And my name is Maddie.
and today we are going to be making Oreo balls. So what you're going to need are Oreos, cream cheese, and optional is chocolate chips so you can like dip them in it. But we're not going to use those because I don't like that. So let's get started. So first you're going to want to put 38 Oreos in here. Now we are going to blend it. You're going to want it to be very fine and like crumbly. Okay, it should look something like this. Delicioso. This is Dora.
Is it Dora or Diego?
Dora. Next we're going to put in a separate bowl, and then we are going to put in the cream cheese.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be like the first one.
So it should end up like this after you mix it. And now we're going to put it back into this bowl. Next, you'll want to use your hands and make these into little balls. But make sure you wash your hands. Okay, so we washed our hands, we cleaned up a little bit, so now we're going to make these into little balls. Please wash your hands before you do it.
This does not look like food.
So we're going to make into balls. Oh, that one's huge. And now that we're all done putting them into balls, we're going to put these into the freezer for 15 minutes. So it's been 15 minutes, and took them out of the freezer.
They're solid.
Solid, good enough to go. Now we're going to try them. Josh is going to try one off camera though. I love you so much.
What's the number?
9.
9.5.
I'd say 9.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of The Cooking Show. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Every time I watch the cooking show, I get hungry.
I feel everyone gets hungry after a cooking show.
Cooking is a good way to relax.
Exactly. A little music in the background so it's not so quiet.
There are some guys who make music with random sounds. I bet they could create a good kitchen beat.
Maybe they already have. Let's see what they did this week.
Hello, and welcome to Something About Music, the show where we take sounds from everyday things and environments and process it into music. In today's episode, we're going to be focusing on sounds from nature. Let's start by gathering the sounds. Now it's time to start processing. Hello, today I'm going to be showing you what I did with the samples that we had. I can play some of them. Where are they? Separate audio. No, it's this one. So I have that one, that one, that one. So here's I mostly use them as drums for this. Okay, and let's see how I did that. So I put an EQ, saturation, and a utility to make it mono, so it was more in the center. This is the snare, which was done by taking it and stretching it out so that it would have more. I think I could play the original. I don't know, it gives it a little bit more of like this, what you'd imagine a snare would sound like. And then EQ, reverb, saturation. I probably should have put an EQ right next after the reverb, but it's whatever. And that's what that one sounds like. Together it sounds like, this is kind of a top layer. I can play what that sounds like. Nature Sticks. I don't know. And then this one was done with this sound. Oh no. Go back. And how I did that is I EQ'd it. Oh, you probably can't see. Okay. I EQ'd the high parts out. Put a utility so that I could turn it into a mono sound, so it was more in the center. And then I EQ'd it again so that the only part of the sound was the high end. And then this one's just the same sound, but I think, yeah, it's just a regular version of it, I guess. And I can play this. And yeah, I mostly just use it for the drums in this one because I was running on a little bit of I was running low on time, yeah. So otherwise, that's pretty much all there is to the rest of the track that for like the samples I use. But yeah, I'll play it.
Baby, you do this to yourself. If you ain't happy by my side, you should go and find someone else.
It's amazing what they create from week to week.
Almost definitely. Question?
What is it?
Every show has commercials, so what kind of commercials do we show?
We have commercials?
Are you always hungry and not feeling fully satisfied? Then introducing our new product, Chunky Can of Soup. Able to satisfy you 50% more than any other food in the world. Plus, it could last over 30 years on the shelf without getting overdue. Not to mention, even zombies want this food. See? Oh no, I better get going.
No kidding, we did have a commercial.
We have a lot of things. News, music, even zombies.
Zombies.
Yes, Survivor's been giving updates. Check it out.
Day 2 of my blog. I just woke up and today I decided I'm going to go out scavenge today. I'm running low on resources and I only have 1 can of chunky soup left. So if I can get to that warehouse, like I said in my last blog, that I can get a lot of food there. Only if nothing stands in the way. So I'm going to go right now because it's morning and there'll be less zombies outside. So let's head there now. Everything has definitely taken a toll out here. Nothing but dead cars and corpses. What is that? Is that a group of people? A zombie horde? Great. I'm going to have to take a detour now.
Stay strong out there. I hope he makes it.
Same. I guess we'll find out. We got renewed for another episode next week.
As always, feel free to follow on Instagram, DMT, and WTC.
Thank you for your continued support.